Oh, let me tell you something. Bustin' makes me feel good.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Blockbusting, a podcast where we love to hate the movies. I'm your host, Jay Light. Joining me today, my guest, Mitch Burrow.
Hey.
Hey, Mitch.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. I never noticed how perverted the Ghostbusters theme song was until it's on your podcast, because it cuts out. It's just talking about busting.
Oh,
and
no,
when I
that's
hear
all
it,
it
I'm just
is.
like, oh, it's just about busted nuts. That's
Yeah.
what he was talking
Just
about.
busting, because you know the story. They recorded the Ghostbusters theme song way before the movie actually came out.
Wasn't it supposed to be the dude who did the Back to the Future soundtrack? It was Huey Lewis was supposed to do it, and then they hired a dude, and they were like, just do a Huey Lewis song.
And then he did a Huey Lewis song, and then he got sued.
Yeah.
By Huey Lewis.
Yep.
In the news. Yeah. Oh, God. All those 80s, they all just kind of blended together.
Was it the fake news? I don't know why
Hey.
I brought all right, let's
Look at that. We're diving
more
in.
riffing.
Politics. Riffs. Welcome to the show.
Huey Lewis and the fake news.
That should be can we start a cover band after this?
Yes.
We're doing that.
It's just all very, very bad covers.
I am very interested to hear your take on this movie that we've got you in for today, because you hate a movie that I and others are a big fan of, which is Young Frankenstein.
And I have no idea why. This movie almost ruined my friendship with my best friend, Monica Nevi. She's another comedian, and we've been friends for like 7 or 8 years now. And in like the 5th year, I found out her favorite movie was Young Frankenstein, and I was like, all right, I've never seen it before. I'm going to get it so we can like talk about this movie. And I hated it 5 minutes into the film. Like it didn't take much for me to be like, oh, this is fucking garbage. And now I'm questioning why I ever liked this person to begin with.
Oh, no. Oh, God.
It was bad.
Mitch. God. Okay, for those of you who haven't seen Young Frankenstein or haven't seen it in a while, just a little refresher. 1974 American comedy horror film directed by Mel Brooks, starring Gene Wilder as the title character, and it features Peter Boyle, Terry Garr, Cloris Leachman, some other people. Gene Hackman is in there. It's got a lot of things going for it. Critical favorite, box office hit. Number 13 on the American Film Institute's list of the 100 funniest American movies. In the Library of Congress National Film Registry.
87 films should have been in front of it. Like, it's ridiculous.
On its 40th anniversary, Mel Brooks himself considered it to be by far his finest film as a writer.
He says
and
it's his
director.
favorite film, but his third funniest.
I mean, I'll agree with that.
Which I think is the problem for me. He's made like 5 movies. And if this is the third funniest, it's not that funny of a movie. It's just not great.
Well, the thing is, it's a really dumb, funny movie.
Here's one thing I do appreciate about it. Gene Wilder agreed to do Blazing Saddles on the condition that Mel Brooks made this movie for him. This was Gene Wilder's idea. So they wrote it together, and this is why Gene Wilder was in Blazing Saddles. So that part is cool, because Blazing Saddles, despite what Omid Singh says, is a great movie.
It is a great movie.
But this film is straight trash. It's garbage. It was initially, it's like it's supposed to be like one of the old Universal style horror films.
Yeah, it's shot in black and white, very much based on we got a singular monster in the way that they had done at the time.
And it was initially set up with Universal Studios. They wanted to make it in color because they were like, look, black and white, it's not going to work. Mel then was like, all right, let's go to Fox, and they agreed to do it. And guess what? Universal Studios was right. There's a reason we have color film. That's because it's better. Like, no movie should be made in black and white. Like, we're done with it. We advanced. Do you want to watch a fucking VHS movie, or do you want to watch something on Blu-ray?
I'll watch a VHS if the concept and the coloration and the design adds to the movie.
Nothing adds to poor quality. Like poor quality doesn't help anything.
But it's not even poor quality.
Yes, it is. It's black and white.
Black and white
You're
doesn't
missing
mean
out
it's poor quality.
on all the color
You don't need
in
all
the
the
world.
colors.
Oh no! That was the first thing that was wrong with the movie. Is like
You just hate black and white movies as a baseline?
I mean, I can't think
Oh,
of
my
one black
goodness.
and white film that I've seen where I was like, I sure am glad that there's no color popping in this to distract me from everything that's going on.
Man, you got your priorities all jacked up.
What's a good black and white film?
I mean, I have never watched a ton of black and white movies.
Because why would you? It's lame.
Well, look, why do they make movies now that they reconfigure and put out in black and white? The Artist is a good movie. I like The Artist. That's black and white.
Sounds like trash.
They took Mad Max and remade it in black and white.
That's
The new one.
I didn't like Mad Max in color.
You
let
didn't
alone
like
in
Fury
black.
Road?
No, I don't. There was no dialogue. Like it wasn't about Mad Max. It was about Furiosa. We can do another episode someday,
Man.
where I shit on that movie too. But this one, okay. So black and white immediately bad. Also, I had to rewatch it because, truth be told, I've never finished the movie.
Right, you gave up on it. You mentioned that.
I didn't
to
even
me.
give up. I just I fall asleep. Okay. So I've tried to watch it twice before now. Fell asleep both times. I started watching it again. I fell asleep twice this time trying to finish it and finally made it through and am now even more angry that I had to watch this shit.
So what are the parts that really get you mad in this movie?
The jokes. The jokes are so hacky, and I get it was made in 1974, but it's like it was written by a child. Like there's no intelligence in the joke. The first time he meets the woman that's going to be his assistant, or I forget what her role is, but she's like laying in the back of a cart,
Yep.
like a horse-drawn cart, and she's like, "You want to roll around in the hay? You want to roll in the hay?" And then she starts rolling in the hay.
Yeah.
Like it's such a bad joke. They get to the castle and he's like helping her out of the cart, and her breasts like get in his face, and also there's big door knockers on the door.
Yep.
And he's like, "What knockers?" And she's like, "Thank you." And like it's just like these are the lamest jokes that could possibly be written.
Well, it's like it's a complete and total inverse of Blazing Saddles, which has some really, really dumb jokes, but also
The fart scene.
Yeah, well, the fart scene, of course, but is designed to be a much smarter movie in the kind of comedy that's aimed for. This is very, and you're not wrong. It's really lowbrow.
I also don't know what this movie was trying to do. I'm not saying like every movie needs to have a message, but at least with Blazing all right, so Blazing Saddles, that film was the point was that the racists were the dummies, and
Right.
and the black dude was the hero.
Right.
Like it was trying to show that these people are wrong. And then with Spaceballs, it's a parody. It's a straight satire. It's a parody of Star Wars.
Mhm.
This is just like, I get the character of Frankenstein's monster is in it, but there's nothing there. There's zero substance,
But it's a parody.
and it's also too long. Like this movie runs an hour and 45 minutes. The original cut was 3 hours long.
Wait, there's an original cut of this that's 3 hours long?
There's an original cut that's 3 hours long, and
That's
then
way too
and
long.
then they decided to cut it down.
That's a
and
good
I
call.
feel like they could have cut down another 45 minutes, and it would have been fine. Like
I think it comes in right at an hour 45.
it just goes on too long,
I can't imagine it being 3 hours long.
and it also falls under some of the same shit, like some of the early '80s movies, like Nerds, Revenge of the Nerds. This movie has like a glorified rape scene in it where Frankenstein's monster is going after the other woman who played she sang in Blazing Saddles. Madeline Kahn. He's like in the room with her, and he's like going towards her, and she's like, "No, no, no!" And then he has this huge Frankenstein cock, and as soon as he puts it in her, she's then like singing joyfully,
Uh-huh.
like rape is bad unless you got a big old dick, and then it's okay. It's like Revenge of the
Very
Nerds,
70s mindset.
where he had like the Vader helmet on, and he like sneaks in and fucks the girl without her know. But because he had a big old nerd dick, it was fine. Like once they find out you got a big dick, the rape is like pushed to the side.
Right, because the big dick overcomes everything else. You're good to go after that.
I mean, it's just like the jokes aren't well thought out, and it's just, some of it's kind of offensive, which to me isn't the worst problem, but it's just bad.
Man, it's so interesting to me. Do you, as a comedy, do you watch a lot of comedy movies?
Yeah.
Is your comedy like the style you like to watch?
My favorite,
not so lowbrow, I take it.
No, because my favorite movie ever, like comedy, is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
I've never seen Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Which is interesting because another one that we were talking about possibly doing was Clerks. I'm not a big fan of Clerks.
Yeah, we mentioned that.
Because it's in black and white. I just realized that it might be the black and white.
I think you got a hang up about black and white.
but Jay and Silent Bob, there's a lot of dumb shit that they say in there. But like the way that movie brings together all of the other films in the Askewniverse with the characters from Clerks, the characters from Chasing Amy, the characters from Mallrats, some of them even being played by the same people. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck portraying themselves in the movie. Like, it's like, I liked that movie so much, but it's not a smart movie either. You know, like, I'm okay with dumb. It's just that these jokes, a middle schooler could have written this movie. And for it to have been written together by two of the most prestigious men in comedy is just insulting.
Well, okay. First of all, I'm going to go back to this. I really got to hit you on this black and white thing because I don't know. Okay. Let's look at these lists of things.
Schindler's List, garbage.
Sin City?
Yeah. I'll go with that.
There you go.
That's an okay one.
There's one. Memento.
Memento was in black and white?
Not totally, but it's got a lot of black and white in it.
Like the flashback scenes?
Yeah.
No, that doesn't count. None of it's just like the flashback scenes.
What about, oh God, I'm trying to look at stuff that's only black and white. Thank God for Wikipedia. I mean, we haven't seen I Love You, Daddy, so I can't call that one. Or not. That's the most recent one on this list.
That was like his tribute to Woody Allen. So fucking garbage. It's going to be an artistic, like, I don't know. I don't like art either. Okay. So
you don't, you don't like art, but you don't like bad jokes.
I need like a good in the middle.
This is, you're real hard. Let's like threading the needle to find something that you like.
I mean, like, action, adventure, like just in your face kind of stuff is good. In comedy, like I don't mind the low brow, but walk this way, and then they start walking. He's like, no, walk this way, and then he hands him the cane. Like, why are you fucking laughing right now? You're thinking back on the scene as if it was funny.
You know what? And this is now I've sort of, I think I've got like a diagnosis of what it is. You were how old when you saw this movie for the first time?
Probably 34, 35.
Okay. I think that this might be a movie that you shouldn't see that late in your life for the very first time.
Okay.
Because when I saw Young Frankenstein, I was definitely in like elementary school. I was probably like 10 or 11.
Which makes sense, seeing as how I'm saying middle schoolers could have written this movie.
Exactly.
And as an elementary student, you're probably like, this is groundbreaking.
Yeah.
This is some of the greatest writing. Like, yeah, I guess a person who has lived a life and understands good comedy could look at this and be like, garbage, whereas an elementary school student could think that it's the funniest thing they've ever seen.
Exactly. And this movie is, what was it rated? I think it was rated PG. Or maybe even, I mean, this is like a different kind of PG because it was back in the day. This is back when
they didn't even have PG-13 at this point, right?
Yeah, let's see. What was it rated?
Oh, it would have had to be PG because it definitely wasn't G with the insinuation of sex.
If you got references to a big old Frankenstein cock, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get a G rating.
Also, like the Frankenstein putting on the Ritz scene it was just like
Megan is dying over in the booth. How can you not like the putting on the Ritz scene?
Because it's basically like, look at this fucking retard over here. Like it's offensive, and I'm not even a person who cares about offensive, but it was basically like, just act like you have Down syndrome, and also it doesn't make sense because a minute prior they have him out on the stage, and they're like, look at his movements, and he's like barely able to walk forward, and then all of a sudden he's dancing like Fred Astaire.
That's the joke. That's the turn of the scene.
It's not, because he doesn't move like that at any other time in the movie.
I know, that's the point.
And then like, it's just like, what are you doing? Like, it's bad.
It's very lowbrow. This is the kind of movie that it makes sense. You're not wrong. This is very, very base level, like lowest common denominator kind of joke telling that we got going on in this movie. If we're going in the route of like, it's a parody, which it objectively is, I've never seen any of these really like old school monster movies. Have you?
No, I don't think so. I might have seen like the Dracula movie.
So something. If I'm gonna wager a guess and say that those movies also were not exactly the most sophisticated horror movies.
Yes, but they were. That was the genre. You know, it was the horror. It was low budget. Let's get people into the drive-in. And more than likely, it's just going to be teenagers making out and trying to fuck in the backseat of the car anyway.
Right, and that's basically what Young Frankenstein kind of was.
No, it's not. It's Mel Brooks. Like, it's supposed to be good. Like, and it's not. It's like Mel Brooks' son. Is it Max?
Max Brooks,
It's like Max Brooks wrote this in 1974 when he was probably 4 years old.
If Max Brooks wrote it, there'd be a lot more zombies in it.
And, and it would have been great. Did he do World War Z?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which, by the way, another movie that got completely fucked up from what it could have been.
Yeah, that movie's pretty rough.
But like this is like his son gave him a script when he was a child, and he was like, you know what, kid, you got something here. Let's go ahead and make it happen. And he didn't change shit. You know, like, it's just so juvenile.
So, okay, well, yeah, juvenile. That's a good descriptor for it. Where do you think the line in like a parody in the genre of parody sits, where it's good or it's too juvenile? Or is there even a line? Like Airplane, widely regarded as a very great movie.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of juvenile stuff in there.
But those jokes are good. Those are like smart jokes.
Oh, you have a scene where literally a woman just runs out topless for maybe a minute.
That's fucking awesome. Why would that be bad?
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying, where's the line? Where's your standard at?
Well,
where is it that is a smart joke for a parody?
That's not a joke. That's just titties on the screen, and I'm okay with that.
Point. No, you're right.
You know, as long as it's not like some. I don't remember that scene in particular. I don't remember why she was running out.
Everybody on the plane was it was like something had just happened.
So it wasn't like she was being raped and she was fleeing from a rape.
No, that
would be in poor taste.
Right, that would be in poor taste.
Similar to the zombie dick changing her, or the Frankenstein dick changing her mind in the rape scene when she's like, "No, I can't. No. Ooh, like that's in poor taste." But just showing some titties, I think that's cool, man. You know, like. That would have made this movie better.
Again, I can't disagree with you on that. It's a good point.
I mean, there's some interesting, like, I will admit there are some interesting references in the film, like the dude with the weird arm. At some point, he's talking to Dr. Frankenstein, Young Frankenstein, and he's like, "We know what's going on based on the last 4 times that this happened," or whatever, and that's referencing Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein, Return of Frankenstein, and Son of Frankenstein, or something like that, like the 4 Frankenstein films that were made. So that was like one good thing that you have to kind of like dig deep to get, but the rest of it is just
Now, let me ask you this.
so disappointing.
If we're talking on the scale of like, all right, you think this is an objectively bad movie?
Hot Shots Part 2,
Better?
great.
What about, do you think this is as bad as, let's go with like the modern Aaron Setzer, Eric Friedberg parodies where it's
Not
like.
Another Teen Movie was good.
But that's different filmmakers.
But following that, but going after it, Not Another Teen Movie, and then like maybe the first two Scary Movies. But once you get into like disaster movie,
Date movie, Meet the Spartans.
Yes, those are like so bad. This is why those films have been made, because this one got away with it. And they're like, if the great Mel Brooks could write hot garbage, so can we.
Now, here's the thing. This one not only got away with it, this one got acclaimed. This one got an Oscar nomination for the script.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
For Best Adapted Screenplay.
Yep, and it's a shame that they were able to trick the Academy into believing that. There's, I don't know how you could watch this and be like, what great writing.
I mean, as a 10-year-old, I can watch that and think what great writing.
10-year-olds aren't in the Academy. Like, that's the part that gets me. Like, this isn't Finding Nemo. This wasn't directed towards children. This is like a legitimate movie that was made for adults to enjoy, and then they give it a nomination for best screen. Like, what were the other films
I'm looking up
in
right
that
now.
category? Because there shouldn't have been very much competition for it to have made the nominations.
Here are the other movies that were nominated in the category: Murder on the Orient Express.
I didn't see the original. I did see the recent remake.
Lenny, based on the Lenny Bruce, the play about Lenny Bruce.
Okay.
The Apprenticeship of Duddy Kravitz, which I've never heard of.
Man, 1974 was a bad year.
Based on a novel. A brash, restless Jewish young man growing up in Montreal. Some shit's going on. I don't know. And then the winner was The Godfather Part 2.
Oh, the greatest of the Godfather movies.
Absolutely.
Right?
I agree 100%.
A lot of people believe that.
And it's right. Those people are right. But here's I'm looking at the list of like in the 70s, the nominations for best adapted screenplay that are even nominated that are comedies. I never saw MASH. Is that a comedy movie?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure, because I know the TV show's a comedy.
And I believe the movie came out first, and then they did the TV show.
Yes, that's correct. I know that for
Yeah.
sure. You've got Cabaret, which is a musical, so that counts. But we're going by Golden Globe rules.
Art, again, get out of here.
You've got another movie about big cocks. You got Equus in there. I don't think that counts, but
Equus? What is that about? Horse
it's
cocks?
about horses. A guy who wants to fuck a horse.
What? No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's about a dude that wants to fuck horses.
Yeah,
this is now my favorite movie. I gotta go find Equus.
Dude, Daniel Radcliffe played on Broadway. He played the guy who wanted to fuck a horse.
But was that based off of this movie? Or is that a different thing that he did? Because I know that
it's based off of the play that the movie was based off of.
Daniel Radcliffe, didn't he get like completely nude in that play?
Because he wants to fuck a horse.
Fucking brave little wizard.
And then you've got La Cage aux Folles, which is a French movie. The Birdcage is based off of that. And that's a comedy.
The Birdcage with
Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is what that is based off of. So it's very rare for a comedy to get nominated for an Oscar to begin with anyway, in any kind of level.
So, okay, I just kind of want to get an idea of what the films in 1974 were like.
Sure.
What were the Oscar nominees for Best Film?
1974.
Best Film.
47th Oscars. Godfather Part 2, which won.
Of course.
Chinatown, The Conversation, Lenny, and The Towering Inferno.
Okay. What was the Conversation? That's like is that Gene Hackman?
Yep, Gene Hackman. And
another black. That's black and white as well, isn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, I don't know what, man.
You just hate black and white movies.
Yeah.
What about even like old school? We're talking like Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton stuff, like The Great Dictator, or any of the Keystone Cops kind of movies.
No words. That's a problem. I need dialogue in my film. So
specific. But you don't want dialogue
because
that's bad.
I like the talkies. Like that's not like there's when the media that medium is missing an important part. Right?
I don't think anyone's referenced the talkies in this building in probably 50 years.
Yeah, when the silver screen transformed into the talkies.
I tell you what, it's a real good time at the Nickelodeon.
Wait, did Mel Brooks do a parody of a silent film as well?
Yep, called I believe it was just called Silent Movie.
Were you the one that was talking to me about that one? Like they had like a cameo from like the most famous mime.
No, that wasn't me. But there is a cameo from a famous. I can see it right here on the Wikipedia page. Marcel Marceau.
And so, he's a mime who's famous for not talking. And I guess the cameo in that it's the only spoken words in the film, and they're asking him to be in the movie, and he just goes no, and then that's it.
Well, that's what happens in The Artist too, because The Artist is a silent movie, and at the very end you get one line, and you realize why the rest of the movie is a silent movie, because that's another joke at the very end of the show.
God, that's a long way to go for a joke.
I will say, big props to Marty Feldman, by the way. I'm looking up all these other movies that Mel Brooks made. Marty Feldman, probably the most prominent lazy eye actor in American history.
Lazy eye? No, bug eye.
Bug eye, excuse me.
I thought it was like makeup or something, and then I looked at his
I've got a picture of him right here, looking all dapper.
That's not so
with an
bad.
ascot. But no, he's definitely putting it on more.
But his eye, I don't know how he does it, but his eyes are like 3/4 of the way out of his face. And also pointing in different directions.
Yes. I mean, he got a best supporting actor win for the Saturn Awards for this movie for Young Frankenstein.
The Saturn Awards?
It's for the sci-fis. Yeah, okay. Look, I mean, this movie is a movie that I can totally it knows its audience, which is aiming towards children.
Yeah, the immature. The dumb and immature.
Right, which is probably
why you like it so much.
Probably why I liked it so much. Look, this is all new to me, all right? I hadn't even discovered Skinamax yet. To hear somebody talk about knockers, and I was like, oh, shit.
I'm just, like, I'm trying to think back on, like, some of the like, most memorable lines.
Well, I'm looking back
from
at
the
the
film,
quotes.
and, like, what would have been, like...
The obvious
The
ones.
only scene that I really enjoyed was Gene Hackman as the blind guy.
Yeah.
Like that scene was okay, but the rest of the movie, it's like it's drawn out and it's boring, and it doesn't have enough for me to like stay interested.
They talk about, I mean, this is what the IMDb page has for the famous quotes. They're talking about his giant Frankenstein dick.
Yeah.
That's the number 2 top quote. A lot of stuff with the Igor scene that's very popular, but also super bass.
My name's Igor. Oh, they told me it was Igor.
Yeah,
well, then they were wrong.
Right. Just after the
How is that like
the Frankenstein stuff. Let's see. There's some stuff with love. There's some stuff with music. There's a lot of stuff with I mean, you're right. Man. I'm so disappointed in myself.
Wait, did I just ruin one of your favorite movies?
I don't think so, because I still got to watch it to actually make sure that I still like it. I didn't get a chance to.
So I fucking forced myself to go through that again, and you didn't have the courage to do it yourself. I'm telling you, when's the last time you watched it?
I'm a coward. I don't know. I'm trying to think. It had to have been in the past. It's definitely in the past 10 years. I think I watched it in college.
You're not gonna enjoy it. You've evolved too much and grown too much as a man. That now when you watch this movie, like you're a comedian now,
right?
You write jokes,
right?
You're gonna have a certain level. Like I'm not. My cousin would hate me right now if he heard me saying this, because he hates listening to comedians talk on podcasts,
right?
Because apparently
it's insufferable.
We just feel like we're the only ones who get comedy, and that's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think anyone who has a mature sense of humor would look at this and be like, this is silly and dumb and not smart. But on a other level, where you are a comedian and you actually write jokes for a living, this is what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You were going to look at this and be like, Mel Brooks, Gene Wilder, you could have done so much better.
The real question that I'm going to have to find myself answering when I do rewatch this is, can I still appreciate a movie that is dumb for the sake of being dumb?
I mean, there are movies like Airplane is really dumb, but the jokes in that are so much better. Like when everything starts going wrong, and then he's like, oh, I picked the wrong day to quit sniffing glue. Like that comes out of nowhere. You know, it's like the knockers joke is just right there in your face, just like her breasts were. The roll in the hay, like these are just like so obvious, but the jokes in Airplane were much more, I don't want to say subtle, but like you didn't see it coming.
There's a difference in the way that they're throwing everything at the wall. Because that's kind of what parody movies do, is they throw a lot of stuff at the wall and see what sticks.
Yeah.
And Airplane manages to get away with it in a way that still feels subtle sometimes.
Well, and don't forget, the dude that wrote Caddyshack. Animal House.
Yep.
It's the same guy, but specifically Animal House. He wrote Animal House. It does great. Airplane comes out, and he's like, fuck, my career is over.
Right.
This is now what comedy is going to... Airplane was a groundbreaking film for comedy. Young Frankenstein was just like... It's not on that level. And again, we're talking about silly and dumb, but it's just a whole different style and intelligence level like put into it. Like the writing is well crafted.
Right. I was thinking there's like kind of a quadrant you can think about it, like on the dumb smart scale, right?
This is dumb.
Mm-hmm.
Airplane is genius dumb.
Right.
That's the difference.
Man.
And if you talk about like things holding up, like again, maybe in 1974 when Walk This Way and Knockers and things like that maybe wasn't such a played out hackneyed bit, maybe it was fine. But you watch it today, it truly does not hold up. It
doesn't hold up.
Whereas Airplane, I think you can still watch that, and it does hold up. Like 90% of that movie would still be good. Like you could make that movie today. But you couldn't, like, this one, like, you could make
if you made this movie today, it would get just as good of returns as Meet the Spartans or Date Movie.
It would be in that category.
Right. It would go direct to DVD. It would be the only blockbuster that still exists in America. It would have been the first feature
film on CISO.
That's a great point.
That's where it would have gone.
Good. What a career trajectory for Mel Brooks, huh?
Yeah, like that would have been good for him.
Is there a movie that you would recommend people watch instead of Young Frankenstein?
Anything. Yeah, I mean, like if you want to go with Mel Brooks films, then I would say Blazing Saddles. Mm-hmm. Like for me, that's or Spaceballs. Old comedies, Airplane. Like if you want that dumb Airplane or any of the Naked Gun movies.
Gun's great.
Those are also like
same deal.
Like dumb thing, and you get to see OJ before he was a convicted murderer.
Right.
Well,
blast from the past.
Before he was an acquitted murderer. My bad. He was acquitted of that. But like it is an interesting. Those are fun old movies to watch. This one hurts. Like to sit through. It's hard.
I mean, it hurts me to sit here and listen to you talk about it like this and know that I'm probably going to rewatch it and then also feel the same way.
I can't wait to see you after you've watched it again. I have the Blu-ray. I will give it to you. Man. I don't want it in my house anymore. I've held on to it for too long.
I buy a Blu-ray player just to watch?
You don't have an Xbox?
No.
Oh, man.
I got a Switch.
Oh, okay. Well,
I'm more of a Zelda Mario. I'm juvenile, all right? I like my children's games. I don't play these adult big boy games like Call
I thought
of
you
Duty.
were just going to say I'm Jew, and I was like, what does that have to do with Nintendo versus Xbox?
No, that's why I'm such a big Mel Brooks fan, because I'm Jew.
Okay.
I am not. Thank you, Melvin Kaminsky. And thank you, Mitch. Dude, this is a movie that, man, I feel like I've done my younger self a disservice.
This movie has prevented me from watching History of the World Part 1 because after that I was like, I'm not sure if I want to like sully Mel Brooks's like what his fucking glory or whatever
Right.
in my mind, because Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Blazing Saddles, Space, these are all like really funny movies, and then this one like stopped it, and now I'm just like, I don't know if I want to, like, he's 3 for 4 right now with me, and if I lower it to 3 for 5, then he's almost gonna be at 50. He's like, it's not gonna be a good average.
That's not good. 60%, that's a D. That's not a good
Yeah,
grade.
so like I'm like hesitant, but maybe the other one will like redeem him in my eyes somewhat.
We'll figure it out. We'll get there. You should watch History of the World Part 1. I actually saw that when I was older in high school, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a movie. This is funny.
Okay, I'll give it a shot then.
So there you
go.
go.
Weren't 7.
I wasn't just learning about titties for the first time and didn't know what rape was.
Yeah, but we still are just learning about titties.
I was like, oh, that lady likes it. He's got a big Schwanzstucker or whatever. Mitch, thanks for coming on today,
Thanks
man.
for having me.
Where can my listeners find you on the internet?
Mitch Burrow on all social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and mitchburrow.com/calendar for tour dates.
Sweet. You can find me at Diet J on Twitter and Instagram, jlightcomedy.com for show dates, and leave a rating on iTunes. Please, we're getting there. Look, I just want to be higher up on the TV and film podcast charts. That's all I want. All right. I don't want to be behind a bunch of Bachelor and Bachelorette.
Where are you at right now?
Podcasts. I'm nowhere. I'm not even the top 200.
Let's get him to 199.
I want to be ahead of the porn reboot podcast. Okay. That's what I want.
I need their contact info because that's the next podcast I want to do.
Man, you know what's crazy is that they're a clean podcast. We're
Awesome.
looking that up right now, so we'll figure that out. Thanks again, Mitch.
Thank you for having me.
Guys, this has been Blockbusting. Go see something good for a change.